Hello everybody! I just got done with my first festival, my second craft fair selling crayons, and I wanted to update you and let you know how I did. So I sold 42 items, 26 names, 7 shape crayons like hearts, stars, flowers, and 9 necklaces. So the necklaces are just capital letters on a string. There we go. And they come in this neat little box. And I thought it'd be fun to go through all the names because there are so many of them and they're so different from each other. On Saturday, I sold to Levi, Chandler, and Ethan. Now, Ethan was interesting because instead of picking capital or lowercase, he was maybe in his 20s and he decided he wanted a capital E, lowercase th, and capital AN. So he went totally mixed. Next was Amelia, Presley, and Raylan. That's R-A-Y-L-E-N, Raylan. Elena, Aubrey, Aaliyah, Aislinn, that's A-I capital S-L-I-N. She went mixed too. She was maybe 9. I don't know why she wanted to do that, but that's what she did. With the S, it's hard to tell the capitals from the lowercases, and I think she wanted to be able to tell her L's from her lowercase i's, and in lowercase those are pretty similar. Iris, Phoenix, Peyton, Hannah, Eli, Micah, and Grant. And I sold 1 box of Funfetti tulips. Now Funfetti just means instead of being rainbow colors like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, brown, that I have lots of colors in the same crayon. And this little girl really liked that there were lots of pinks and purples in her tulips. I sold 3 sets of rainbow flowers and a set of rainbow stars. I sold necklaces, 3 T's, an A, B, C, and W. And I got $10 in tips. This guy, he bought a necklace for himself and one for his fiance, and he paid me $20 instead of the 10 it cost, and he's just like, keep the change. And I'm like, you sure? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, cool, that's pretty cool. On Sunday, I sold names to Bryce, that's with a Y. I was told it was a boy. My mom made the sale. I had a coworker whose name was Bryce, spelled the same way, but she was a lady. This was for a boy. Rose Marina, Mia, Hensley, Mira, M-E-A-R-A, Mira, Caden, K-A-E-D-E-N, Lily, Lincoln, and Ella. Ella went with all lowercase instead of having a capital letter for her E. We were pretty much out of capital E's, so we were using lowercase m's. That kind of looks like an E, but she didn't like that, so she didn't like any of the colors we had of those either, so she went with a lowercase E. On Sunday, I also sold Funfetti stars, Funfetti flowers, and rainbow tulips, and 2 necklaces, L and E. So the letter T was my most popular necklace, by far, which I did not expect, because if you look at the letter frequency for names, it's J and R for boys, for first letters, and A, L, E, M, N for girls. So things that went right at this festival, we packed a lunch and dinner, so it was a healthier option than buying food at the festival. My mom came too, So we were able to trade off and take bathroom breaks and walk around the festival. And I had a fabric sign that had the name Rachel Crayons on it on the front of my booth. And that let about half the people know that what I was selling was actually crayons. About half the people would come up and be like, "What are these?" And I'd have to be, "They're all crayons. These are all crayons." I said, "These are all crayons," an awful lot of times. Another thing I said a lot of times is, "Do you know anyone who likes to color?" Because you can't tell by looking whether someone has grandkids or not. And you can't tell how old their grandkids are. So you just have to ask. So I got a whole bunch of people who laughed and went, "Nope." One guy said, "I lock people who do that out of the house." That was interesting. But besides that, it was a lot of fun. The festival was laid out in a park, and the park is like a hub with spokes coming off of it in an X, and then there's a border around that, and then there's just side paths that just kind of go in random directions. That's what it felt like walking around. It was really hard to walk around and make sure you'd seen everything. I know I missed stuff, and I wanted to see everything, but we were in a good spot because we got lots of traffic. Probably the best spot was over by the bathrooms and the playground, because there's a shelter house with actual bathrooms by the playground, which I really appreciated, not having to use porta potties all weekend. Some things that didn't go so well. I signed up for this particular festival in June or July and didn't realize that it was a 9 to 9, well, I knew it was a 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. festival, but didn't realize that would mean the last hour would be in the dark. So we ended up packing up a little early and going home at like 8:15 rather than 9 on Saturday. And I brought a square reader, and it worked on Saturday, and I made 2 sales using credit cards on Saturday. But on Sunday, for some reason, I wasn't getting any data. I couldn't connect to the cell phone network, so my credit card reader wasn't working, and most people were willing to just pay cash, but one lady, she wanted to buy 5 names, and she wanted to pay with card. And we tried the card and it wouldn't go through, so I lost $50 in sales because my credit card reader wasn't working. She took my card, she said she'd buy online. We'll see what happens. I kind of doubt anything will come from that. Lots of people took business cards though, which is really exciting. They have my name and my number and my Etsy shop on them. So you can visit my Etsy shop too. It's etsy.com/Rachel Crayons. Not Rachel's crayons, Rachel Crayons. Another thing about my prep for this festival is that I brought way too many shaped crayons. I had 150 something boxes of shaped crayons, and I sold 7 of them. So to the next festival, I am definitely bringing way fewer. I may bring 20 or maybe 30 boxes of shaped crayons. And I sold way more names than I was expecting to. Lots of parents came up and they were more excited by the fact that you can get your name than the child was. Though lots of kids had fun picking out their letters one by one, picking out the color they wanted for each letter. Some parents would come up and thank us for having something other than junk for their kids to buy. Several people asked me how I make crayons, and I told them I make my own letter molds, and I break up crayons. I use a hammer, and I pour in the pieces into the mold, and I toast it in the toaster oven, and it comes out as a brand new crayon. Lots of people wanted to know if they would melt, especially the necklaces, if they would melt on your clothes and get you all messy. And the answer is no, not really. if you would carry a crayon around in your pocket, well, that's probably not good, because you wouldn't want to leave it in your pocket, but because you don't want it to go through the dryer. But my mom wore a crayon necklace all day, and it didn't get on her clothes at all, even though it was like 80 degrees outside. I have had crayons start to sweat around like 90, 95 degrees, but that was when they were in direct sunlight for a couple hours, and it was 90. So now I bring my crayons in a cooler. That's what I did to this festival. I'm thinking of just bringing one cooler, not 3 coolers next time. The letters were by far the most popular thing. I sold 26 names. I still can't believe that. 26. Seems like a lot. And at the end of the night on Sunday, there was a lady selling the leftover pretzels. Because it's the Pretzel Festival, so they had leftover soft pretzels, 4 for $5. So we'd been talking about pretzels all weekend, and we finally got some. They were a little stale, but it was worth it. They were so salty. They had so much salt on them. At the pretzel contest, they had all kinds of fillings like cinnamon sugar and cinnamon roll and I don't know, stuff like that. We couldn't see the contest, but we heard it over the loudspeakers. But I'm glad that we got just plain pretzels. I wish we had cheese dip, but no cheese dip. Just pretzels. We still have some left. I had some for breakfast. They were delicious. You have to have pretzels at the Pretzel Festival. And that's how my second craft fair with crayons went. I have another one in 2 weeks, so I'll see you after that one. Goodbye!